In our guest for today, at least for the first little while here, Mayra Gutierrez. Welcome to.
No, that's not it.
Let's try. No.
Nope, that's
See,
still not it.
See, this is what happens when I try to produce.
There she
There
is.
she is. We found her. She's been here the whole time, guys. Hiding out behind.
Thank you for having me on. And thank you for
Absolutely.
saying my name correctly after so many years. Thank you.
I think I've always said your name correctly.
Well,
you
so
have always, but there's people that know me for quite a while and they still don't say it right.
and
So
for the
thank
ones
you.
that don't know, Myra has been a friend of ours for a little while now, and she's been so gracious to come on the show and kind of discuss a lot of the things that are currently going on at the border. And yeah, there's a lot going on currently. So let's go ahead and kind of get into that. So what's kind of let people know how far you live from the U.S. border? Like, what would kind of give people a description of what things look like for you?
Sure. I live in South Texas, the McAllen area, and this is where everything is happening right now. When you hear the senators, the congressmen coming down, this is the area that they're coming down at.
Okay.
I live about 5 miles, I want to say, I go by minutes, like 10, 15 minutes from the border, less than 15 miles from, I guess, from the border. It's very close. I actually used to live right across the border where you could hear the traffic in Mexico. I went to school at a place where people would go skipping to Mexico and come back on the bus, you know, with a couple of drinks
Right.
and go home. So that's how close we are to the border, and that's how safe it used to be, where we were able to go skipping into Mexico, go after a football game to the clubs in Mexico.
Right.
That doesn't exist anymore. Right now, there's a lot of illegal aliens coming across. There is about 185% increase from last year.
Damn.
And I do have numbers. As of yesterday, I got this numbers. There has been 600,000 apprehensions, 23,000 unaccompanied children. I can't say the word. Children traveling alone, 10,000 released without a court date. So right now, the Border Patrol are extremely overwhelmed. It's catch and release. These illegal aliens are coming directly to the Border Patrol, turning themselves in. They come and bring them to tents that's blocks away from my house. They do COVID testing there. Then they send them to the Respite Catholic Charity Center, where from there, they're given money. They're picked up by their sponsors, people that, I mean, I don't know if you saw the Alex Jones video. That's blocks away from my house.
Wow.
And they're taken into the bus and spread out throughout the United States. And a lot of them, we're not tracking them because they're sending them off without a court date.
Oh, so
It's a catch and release.
I was always hearing that they were giving them a court date and they were just kind of not showing back up, obviously. But you're saying they're not even giving them a court date.
No, they're not even giving them a court date. There's areas like an hour away from where I'm at on the other side, like further down in the border. One of my Border Patrol friends was telling me that they come in, they process them. At the beginning, they weren't even getting COVID tests. I mean, we went through a whole pandemic. Our businesses suffered. We went through a whole lockdown. Illegal aliens come. They don't even get COVID testing. We accept them in, release them into the community, like come in, and these illegal aliens actually ask our Border Patrol for rights to where they want to go. I'm like, they're not your Ubers. They're not your taxi drivers.
Oh, my God.
They're here to
That's
protect our borders, and they can't even do that. Not because they don't want to, because this administration is not allowing them
Right,
to.
right. They're being they're being hamstrung to the
Yeah.
point where they can't actually do the job that they need to do. We heard about this going on in like Afghanistan and Iraq and whatnot with the soldiers under Obama, where they're like, hey, we have a job to do. We could do it more effectively, but we're just being constantly undermined and hamstrung where we can't actually do, the job that we do.
Yeah,
you know?
and here's the thing, though, is as long as we've been doing the show, and over the last couple of years that we've had Myra on this show, things have been relatively calm at the border. We've had her on during the Trump administration and to give us some insight on what's going on. Now, what I want people to understand is with our show, we have guests on that are directly affected by the crisis that's currently going on. When you watch a lot of the mainstream media, you're getting analysts telling you what they think is going on or how things are operating down at the U.S. border. So that's the difference between us and the mainstream media, is that if you guys want to know what's going on, we're going to bring people on the show that have got legitimately the facts and the numbers to back things up, that actually deal with the Border Patrol on a daily basis. Now, while we're talking about this, I want something we've never done before, and I've always wanted to ask you, what is your relationship with the Border Patrol agents? Like, how involved are you with them?
I am very involved with the Border Patrol agents. I mean, I don't work for them.
Right.
I don't. I have family and friends that are in the agency, that are in the U.S. Customs, the Border Patrol. So this is that's how I work with them, because they're my friends. And when the whole Trump administration started, and even with the Obama era, I think it started off when they started demonizing the ICE agents and the Border Patrol. And my stance on that is like, these are my friends. This is my family. The majority of Border Patrols are Hispanics, and they were being called white supremacists and Nazis for doing their job.
Oh my God.
They have families, they're brothers, they're sisters, you know. And to me, that was just wrong. So I started getting more involved in the organization that I'm in, which is Latinos for Trump, and now is Latinos for America First. So we started doing appreciation dinners, luncheons, collecting sanitizers for them, a lot of, you know, those kind of drives. And so I am involved with them because I listen to their stories and I hear what's happening. We work a lot with the Border Patrol Union. And I say work a lot, but kind of offset. We just see what they need, and we, you know, we are there for them.
Just offering
so whatever
some
they need, like
assistance.
to collect items for them, to appreciate them and show them. And I get numbers from different agencies or from reports that I see, not necessarily, I'm not going to say from them, but the numbers are out there. And that's what the media doesn't want you to see. If you go to the Border Patrol website, they're ditching out the numbers. If you follow the Border Patrol chief down here in the RGV sector, that's what I call the Rio Grande Valley, the RGV sector, daily he's tweeting about what's going on in the valley, in the border. But the media doesn't want to focus on that. They don't want to see that. And when the Trump administration was enforced, that's when the caravan started coming. And you guys know that I saw the caravan coming in, and we exposed the charities.
Yeah, I remember that.
But Trump put a stop to it. He enforced the laws. And that is something that the Biden administration is not doing. They're not enforcing the laws. If we would just enforce the laws, I mean, a lot of control would happen. And I also work with angel families. That's also one of my connections with the Border Patrols. So the angel families are victims of illegal alien crime. So that's why I'm very passionate about this cause, and it's my backyard, it's my home. So I just became a citizen last year, so to me it's kind of like, do it, you know.
Yeah,
and I take it at heart.
We actually had you on the show to kind of celebrate the fact that you did become a U.S. citizen, and that's for the folks that have never.
And you made me cry. I remember.
Yes,
I remember.
You know, it was just, we've seen the process that you've gone through to get to where you are, to become, you know, a U.S. citizen the correct way. And, you know, to be able to share that experience with you, you know, obviously, you know, via, through Zoom and of course through socials, but it's been a cool process to watch you go through this, and you've done it the right way. And that's something that a lot of people don't see people go through that want to become U.S. citizens. And I remember when you posted that, I was really proud of you for going through that, and, you know, and it just kind of reassured the fact that there are people out there that really want to become a U.S. citizen. They really want to go through that process. They really want to have that American dream that you guys often talk about. And so, kind of shifting gears back to to the conversation, give us some insight on what it's like down there right now with everything that's going on that's not being reported by the mainstream media. Like, what's the day in the life in the town that you live in with everything currently going on at the border?
Well, they're coming in every hour, even less than every hour. The Border Patrol, they're getting groups of. There was one time that they had a group of 400 people come in, and most of them are children. And that's the saddest thing to see. Like I said, the tent city that they have here, it's blocks away from my house. They have it gated, but they're not forced to be there. These
Right.
people are not forced to be in that area. They can come out whenever they want.
Right.
If they do test positive for COVID, they send them to hotels paid by us. You know, so we're taking care of it. We're paying the COVID testing right now. As far as I know, my city's paying for that, for the city of McAllen. We're supposed to get reimbursed, but
Supposed to.
I mean, the
Supposed
Biden
to.
administration is still not calling it a crisis. They're calling it a challenge.
Right.
So,
I mean, it's all about political framing and whatnot. You know, you can't have the media down there actually speaking truth to what's going on because
Correct.
they've spent the last 4 years talking about how terrible Trump was and how terrible he was for putting kids in cages and
Yeah,
whatnot. And
and-
now that this administration's doing exactly worse than what they were describing before, we can't have that because now we look like idiots. Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
and now they
crazy.
want to do some repairs on the fence or some on the wall, which is
Yeah.
they're finishing the wall. That's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
The Border Patrol need that wall, and they're getting funding cut back. And not to mention that people, illegal aliens that are now being released from prison for serving time, ICE cannot go get them. The Biden administration is stopping that. They're
Right.
released again into our streets. Before, ICE would pick them up when they were getting released, the prisoners. Now they can't do that.
So, what do you have any safety concerns right now? Like, what is the level of safety for you? Do you feel safe in your home? No. What kind of where you at with that?
The safety control, I can't say that I feel 100% safe because I know that at any time they could leave, and I know the magnitudes that are coming in. But to be honest, these people are, the way they're turning themselves into the Border Patrol, and they're kind of working into the system that they have put in place, where I say blocks away in the Catholic Charities, because they want to go further into the United States.
Right.
That's
just-
what they want. That's what they're seeking. But I do know that, I mean, I go running here in the trails sometimes, and I see more people than before that look kind of sketchy, but
Right.
I can't say anything. I mean, I run with a knife, with my switchblade,
You're
but
not supposed to run
just
with
for
knives,
security.
young lady.
But there's stories that are being told by the Border Patrol. I don't know if you heard about the baby that was thrown, the 6-month baby that was thrown into the river.
Yeah.
Because
Oh my
the
God.
mother, I think the mother died or she broke her legs, and the mother couldn't continue. So the cartels or the human trafficker didn't want to deal with the baby, so they threw the baby in the river.
Wow.
The baby got saved, but they threw it to drown.
Yeah.
Then there was a little girl, a 10-year-old little girl that when she got to the Border Patrol, she had no voice. She lost her voice from yelling because she was being gang raped by the cartels,
but
by
to
these human
say-
traffickers.
but
So
to
this
say
is
they're-
what's happening
yeah,
to the children.
But to say they're not sending their best, and I assume some of them are good people, like that's way outside the lines. But throwing a child overboard because you don't want to deal with it, that's sickening. That's sickening.
So
and it's just
this,
like
I
these are the
mean,
kind of people that are coming in and just like they have open reign to do so. And there's a lot of people were waiting for Biden to come into office because they knew he wasn't going to do anything.
Yeah,
He's
I
not
saw.
a leader.
Did you see the video that I think was it? I don't quote me on this. I think it was ABC that actually interviewed an illegal that did cross over, and he openly admitted that they were waiting for Biden to come into office before they made that crossover
Yeah.
into the U.S.
They ain't
that was
stupid.
here.
That reporter was not expecting that response.
They're not stupid people. They're not. I mean, these people coming across the border, like some of
Yeah.
them, like are amazing people in terms of like the amount of risk they're willing to take to have a better life for themselves. I find no fault in that.
Yeah.
Yes, I would prefer you do it the correct way, but that's an amazing attribute. That's the kind
Do
of
it the Mayra way.
that's the kind of go-to spirit you kind of want in people. But when you also have such lax controls that all of the bad shit can get in, like all of the
Yeah.
people that are not here don't have good intentions at all.
No.
There's also a video that, again, this is an hour away from me, up higher up in the border, and there was a little boy that a border patrol on his way home found, and he was crying in the fields. It was a 10-year-old little boy, I think it was 10 or 12, and he was crying because they left them. The group that he was with left them, abandoned him on the side of the road. This kid not knowing where he was at, and the border patrol asked him, where's your where are your parents? Are your parents with you? He's like, no, I traveled alone. Like, he came alone. To me, I mean, this, if my daughter's 8 years old and I leave to go grocery shopping and somebody finds out, somebody can call CPS on me for letting go my daughter. Or if I send her to the store alone at 8 years old, that's dangerous. So to send these kids to go through such a dangerous journey, it's beyond me. And a lot of these kids are kidnapped because a lot of these countries, the low community, the families, they don't have a voice. So when their children are kidnapped, nobody listens to them. So a lot of them are kidnapped and used by the cartel and reused so other people can enter the country illegally. And I sent some pictures, and if you look, I mean, there's a lot of kids. There was a man with a little girl, and the little girl looks, they look frightened. It's a very sad thing to see.
Are these photos that you sent to me?
On Telegram. But it's very little pictures that I had, but I mean, I've seen it from the past also when the caravans were coming in. There was mostly men with little kids. So
well, shoot. So it sounds like things are not exactly going the greatest down at the border right now.
Well,
and
and
I can't imagine what it's going to take for people to stand up and finally decide, say, you know what, this is enough. We've had enough. This is ridiculous.
And quite honestly, it's very dangerous for a lot of us to talk because the cartels are among us. I mean, they're so close in the border, and they're on this side and on that side. So they're on both sides. So a lot of times, I mean, we want to do reporting. We want to be out there in the border, but right now it's very dangerous to be out there.
Right on. Okay.